Now let's talk about their definitions and their differences. Both the infraction and the crime enter the realm of the illicit, but according to the Federal Fiscal Code, an infraction is usually punished in the form of a fine, whereas a crime is usually punished in the form of a corporal penalty, which means jail time. There are also some factors that can make the situation of an infraction way worse. Some of them are doing it deliberately with full consciousness and intention, document falsification, income omission. The amount of money involved in the infraction is also a really important factor, and not cooperating with the authorities.
There are many reasons why infractions occur. They are outlined in Article 76 to 91 of the CFF. These are some of the most common ones. Omission of contributions. Failing to report and pay taxes accurately can lead to fines ranging from 55% to 75% of the admitted amounts. Errors in declarations. Mistakes in tax declarations, non-payment of provisional taxes, and failure to update one's address post changes can result in infractions. Federal Taxpayer Registry. Non-compliance with the RFC, such as lacking registration, providing false fiscal addresses, or not correctly registering the RFC of partners can lead to fines. Inadequate accounting. Inadequate record keeping, missing essential elements, failure to adhere to legal requirements, and not preparing financial statements when necessary can trigger infractions. During tax audits, resisting tax authorities, failing to retain required information, or disclosing audit findings can result in infractions. Third parties. Professionals who assist taxpayers, like accountants or lawyers, may be penalized if they aid in tax violations established by the law. Employees or public officials. Contrary to taxpayers, employees or public officials can face penalties for not enforcing tax payments when necessary.
Tax crimes are serious offenses that can result in significant penalties, including imprisonment. In Mexico, tax crimes are defined as any act that defrauds the federal government out of taxes. There are three main types of tax crimes in Mexico. Tax evasion. This is the most common type of tax crime and occurs when a person or entity fails to pay taxes that they are legally required to pay. Tax fraud. This occurs when a person or entity intentionally deceives the government in order to avoid paying taxes. And tax avoidance. This occurs when a person or entity takes advantage of legal loopholes to reduce their tax liability. The penalties for tax crimes in Mexico can be severe. Tax evasion can result in a prison sentence of up to 2 years and a fine up to 20,000 times the daily minimum wage. Tax fraud can result in a prison sentence of up to 9 years and a fine up to 120,000 times the daily minimum wage.
Who are responsible in the commission of a tax crime? According to the Código Fiscal de la Federación, any person who commits a tax crime can be held responsible. This includes individuals, legal entities, and public servants. In the case of individuals, according to the Article 242, any person who violates the tax laws with intent to evade or defraud the government can be held responsible for a tax crime. This includes individuals who file false tax returns, claim undue tax credits, or issue false invoices. In the case of legal entities, according to Article 243, the individuals who are responsible for managing and directing the entity can be held personally responsible for tax crimes committed by the entity. This includes the board of directors, officers, and other individuals who have the authority to make decisions on behalf of the entity. Also, according to the Article 243, public servants can also be held personally responsible for tax crimes committed while in office. This includes tax inspectors, auditors, and other public servants who have a duty to enforce the tax laws.
So now you know, if you want to avoid any problems, file your taxes properly. Which is why it is really important that you are very careful and check for any inconsistencies or mistakes to avoid any further negative consequences for you or for your company. Once you did that, you will be able to pay your taxes. And remember, it is your responsibility to check that you don't keep any money that doesn't belong to you. The bank will be in charge of checking that everything is correct. And unfortunately, if not, you will have to pay fines, or even worse, you could end up being imprisoned for committing something illicit. Remember that by paying your taxes, you're not only protecting you protect your company and even your workers.